And welcome back here to Live Now from Fox. I'm Andrew Kraft. We do have some breaking news. The theme of the last 2 days seems to be pardons and commutations and mercy. Well, now we're hearing from President Donald Trump issuing yet another pardon for Silk Road founder Ross Ulbricht here. I want to put this up, the Trump War Room, with the screen grab of the Truth Social post. President Trump saying this: I just called the mother of Ross William Ulbricht, he says Albright there, to let her know that in honor of her and the libertarian movement, which supported me so strongly, it was my pleasure to have just signed a full and unconditional pardon of her son, Ross. The scum that worked to convict him were some of the same lunatics who were involved in the modern-day weaponization of government against me. He was given 2 life sentences plus 40 years. Ridiculous. So, if you're not familiar with the case of Ross Ulbricht, let's remind you and get you up to speed. Now, remember, Trump made good on this campaign pledge to end the imprisonment of Ulbricht. Ulbricht is 40 years old. It began with his arrest in 2013 in what became a landmark U.S. prosecution, launched only a few years after the emergence of cryptocurrency. So, reading from the piece just put up there in Reuters, he was serving a life sentence after being convicted of running an underground online marketplace that was used by thousands of drug dealers and others to conduct over $200 million worth of illicit sales using Bitcoin. So his arrest brought to an end what prosecutors described as a global black market bazaar that for 2 years, starting in 2011, had been used by more than 100,000 people to buy and sell $214 million worth of illegal drugs and other illicit services. Prosecutors said Ulbricht ran Silk Road under the alias called Dread Pirate Roberts. That was a reference to a character in the 1987 movie The Princess Bride. And prosecutors said he took extreme steps to protect the marketplace's operation. Those steps, prosecutors said, included soliciting the murders of several people who posed a threat, though they also said no evidence exists that any murders were actually carried out. So a federal jury in Manhattan back in February 2015, now almost a decade ago, found him guilty of charges including distributing drugs through the internet and conspiring to commit computer hacking and money laundering. Now, when Trump was candidate Trump last summer, he was invited and addressed and spoke to the Libertarian Political Convention there in Washington, D.C., and he vowed to pardon Ross Ulbricht on day 1 of his administration if he were elected. Of course, this is day 2, and he is following up on that campaign promise. I think it's interesting. I want you to hear the crowd's reaction when Trump made that campaign promise, speaking to so many libertarians. Let's listen.
And if you vote for me on day 1, I will commute the sentence of Ross Ulbricht to a sentence of time served.
All right, so you see there many libertarians in the audience with Free Ross signs roaring into applause and shouting and hollering there after Trump made that campaign promise last May, and he has now made good on it on the second day of his second term here. So wanted to get that all in there. That was breaking news just in the last couple of minutes.